Hey everyone, this is Royal with Paternity University. This is the Skills Make You Meals podcast series on the YouTube channel. Hey, if you like it, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Here, I'm with Mr. Derrick Bundy. He is a restoration and detailer for classic cars, BMWs, Mercedes, eventually getting into the Rolls Royce space as well. So Derrick, man, how you doing, bro?
I'm right, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. I cannot
Good.
complain. I cannot complain, not one bit, bro. So Derrick, man, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Like, did you always have a fascination with older fly cars, or you just had a fascination with cars in general?
I think it's a combination of both. I uh I grew up in, BMWs like the ones that I drive. My dad used to be in real estate and used to sell them and stuff like that. So my earliest memories of being in a car were in a BMW. And so that eventually led into me like, getting model cars and magazines, things like that. And then once I was old enough, I went and bought my first car, and then here I am 46 cars later at 27. So yeah.
Well, you've owned 46 cars, so like you
Yeah,
bought and sold 46 cars,
47 actually. Yeah, I have 9 right now, but I've had 47 in total.
and the nine that you have are currently you're restoring them currently. They're like project cars at the moment.
Yeah, 2 of them are like my personal cars. And then the other, I've got a couple parts cars like that could be built, and then I've got a couple that are just like strictly buy, restore, and then sell.
That's wild, man. So you're trying to, and we'll talk about this later too. You're trying to get to like the Rick Ross level of owning the cars, man. Like I think he has
Yeah,
70 something cars, man. Like
yeah, yeah. I
it's
think he's
crazy.
got like
We'll,
over 100. And then when I saw him, yeah, he's got them.
we'll definitely get into that because I want to know your experience with that. So like
Yeah.
what did you show or desire like mechanical skills even as a kid? Like you said, your dad was riding around these BMWs.
Yeah.
Did you say as a kid, like I want to start fixing on these things? I want to restore them. Like, was that something that you wanted as a kid?
Well, actually, it's a little bit different. Um, I think I've always had like a knack for like artwork and like design and stuff like that because from a very, very, very young age, I was able to spot the differences between like just different little design languages. Like I could tell the difference at probably 2 or 3 years old, the difference between a Mercedes and a BMW just based on the design cues that the cars had. And that's something that I guess that ability has been, I guess I've carried it throughout my life with me and everything. So I just ended up figuring out how to reverse engineer stuff and learn stuff based on little pattern recognition and things of that definition. So, yeah, I just always wanted to design them, I guess. And then naturally, I don't have all the money in the world either. So if something breaks and you want to have a fly car, like I definitely can't afford to, pay somebody else to fix it. So I figured I'm gonna learn how to do it myself. And so that's what I've been doing. So the mechanical side, the bodywork side, the upholstery side, like some of the less fun stuff, I guess, I've just picked up because it's just a necessity of the end goal that I have.
So you did not go to school for this at all. You just kind of picked this up completely on your own, right?
Pretty much. I did go to Wild Tech for literally all of 2 weeks. Fresh out of high school, I had an interest in cars. The recruiter came and did what he's supposed to do, convinced me to go, and I went out to Laramie, Wyoming, and I hated it. Like I said, 2 weeks into it, I was like, no, this ain't the wave. So I mean, I picked up a little bit of knowledge from there, but everything else for the past, 10 years or so, and really beyond that, has all been self-taught.
That's dope, man. That's dope. So what are your what are the names of your business? You do restoration and then you said you do detailing as well. So like
Yeah.
tell me about them. How'd you get started?
So with the detailing thing, like having a flat car, if you want to, have it, you got to work on it and all that. But then once it is flat, keep it clean. My philosophy is that, a good detail is like a good haircut. You'll get lined up and stuff like that. You just want to go out and ride. You just want to be seen, in the car, and it should be an experience that you should enjoy and you can just take pride in your vehicle. So um, I was doing that shit with all the cars that I've had. I've been keeping them clean and all that. And I had a buddy that had a BMW too, and he was like, "Well, shit, we should just start doing this for other people." I was like, "All right." And so that was in April of 2015, and then shortly after that, I mean, he got another opportunity and went and did his thing with that. But I just kept going with the detailing business. And like I said, I love cars in general, especially like the high end stuff and the luxury stuff. So I've tried to put my company together in a way that I get to be around these cars and experience them and get to sort of peek into the lifestyle of the people that own them. Because I want to own them one day too. I have to figure out, you know, who are these people and what do they do and how can I do something like that or get close to them anyway, to figure it out. So yeah, I've been detailing for, you know, beyond 7 years, but officially, you know, in business for 7 years.
That's dope. So what, like, what's the common trait of the people who own these fly ass cars, man? Like these Lamborghinis, these Maybachs, these Mercedes. Like, what is the like? Are they entrepreneurs? Are they like doctors, lawyers? Like, what's the common kind of trait between those?
They're people. That's an interesting question. I think they're people that value. They're people that value their time. Let me
Hmm.
put it that way. And I say that because again, part of my philosophy with cars is like I drive nothing but big bodies, really. So, you know, I've got a couple of V12s and, you know, a couple of V8s, and like I like, if I'm gonna spend some time somewhere, I'm gonna enjoy that time.
Hmm.
Like it's valuable time. So like if I'm gonna be, I mean, even Steve Harvey the other day said, like, if I gotta live in a car, I'm gonna live in a Phantom, you know, because
Yeah.
I got curtains and a fridge and all that type of stuff. And I think these people probably feel the same way. Like I said, they value their time and they value their experiences within that time, I guess, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Hmm. So yeah, like experience, quality, like I said, valuing their time. So
Yeah.
they have the means because of that end goal, they acquire the means to be able to acquire these cars, basically.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
dope. This is a random memory, man, that you sprouted up, man. My and you'll be able to name this joint too. My granddad had a late 80s royal blue diesel Mercedes joint. Like
Mm,
he had it, you turn it on, and that's the first time I ever heard a diesel engine as a kid.
yeah.
And my grandma had a Cadillac uh two-door DeVille, I think, with a phone in it. She had the joint with the phone in it, man, like
Yeah.
1989 joint. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, out there in California. But he had that. I have not seen that color on a Benz since, like
Yeah.
royal blue with the tan seats. Oh, and the diesel
Yeah.
engine. What model Benz is
It's
that, man?
probably a 300D.
Yeah, I thought it was a 300. Yeah, that's about right.
That's
Yeah.
probably what it is if it's late 80s. I'm actually looking to buy one of those right now, actually. There's white on black or white on red interior.
Woo.
So yeah, it's gonna be some interesting stuff happening with that car.
Man, that joint was beautiful, man. And you could
Yeah.
hear that engine like I was like, oh
Hmm.
man. Yeah, because correct me if I'm wrong, man. I'm not as obviously as mechanically inclined as you are, but the Germans created
Yeah.
a diesel engine, correct?
Uh it was a dude
I
by the
think
last
they
name of
did.
Diesel. I don't remember his I don't know if he was German or not. Probably so. If I had to
Okay,
guess, just based on everything else the Germans do engineering wise, that's probably
for
true.
sure.
Yeah.
So how do you get your and get these clients? Because every day on Twitter, I see you posting something new, some car that's just jacked up on the interior, man.
Hmm.
And you turn it into something beautiful because it truly is art. How do you get
Hmm.
these clients? Is it referral based? Are you doing Google ads or something? Like, how do you do it?
It's a mix of referrals, and just a really well put together website. I spent a lot of time on the website just to get it just perfectly dialed in. I don't really do a lot of like the SEO and Google ads and all that stuff. I mean, I understand it. I understand backlinking and all of that. But the biggest thing is tugging on that emotion. Like I said,
Mm,
if people value their time, if they value, you know, themselves, like they have to have some sense of importance when they pull up. Like these cards are status symbols, like let's not get it twisted. So you have to be able to, you know, appeal to that emotion. Like why did they buy the car? Appeal to that emotion and sell it to them again. So like people, as time gets, or as your car gets driven, miles get put on it, things like that, like it gets kind of beat up and you start to kind of take it for granted and you start to just kind of let it go and all that. And I want to like re-inspire people as to why they bought their car, why they fell in love with it. So then when they get back in it, it's like, oh man, this is better than it was when I bought it. And you
mm.
know, like that I can give people the same joy that I have with my cars. That's my whole goal.
Restore the feeling in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, the website is just, I put it together very carefully with the imagery that I used, with the copy that I used, um, telling stories about my cars to kind of get people like to know like you're dealing with a human too. You know what I mean? I get the human and the emotional aspect of it. Here's where I came from. Here's where, here's how I built my cars. Here's some of my childhood. Here's all of that type of stuff. And these people really see like I'm about what I do.
Man, I don't know if I did go to your website.
Mm.
Do you have a YouTube?
I do, but I don't regularly update it. I'm working on doing more of that with
Okay.
this next car that
'Cause
I
I
got.
think you can do some really dope stuff, like doing TikTok. Those, those people on TikTok, man, that own service businesses and stuff. And
Hmm.
the dudes that's like a pool cleaner, and he just, hey man, this is what I'm doing, and he'd go off and
Yeah.
do it and chop it up a little bit, put it on TikTok, and
Hmm.
how many because you have the website and you get referrals. Do you get clients from like social media? Because you're always posting pictures of your work, man, and it looks good.
Yeah, I do a couple like on Twitter. I'm working on selling a couple cars on Twitter, believe it or not. And then Facebook is, you know, here and there. Facebook, I guess the way that people use it's kind of changing the
Mm,
past couple of years. Um, Instagram, my Instagram is there just again as a showcase, like this is what I do. But as
right.
far as how people reach out to me, it's like, oh well, I seen you did a ceramic on this person's car or whatever, and they recommended you to come like extremely highly recommended. Or like I work within like certain car clubs, like a Porsche club, the local Porsche club. I
Mm,
work with a lot of those guys. So once you do one car, it spreads like wildfire, and then you got 6 more guys that have 10 more cars to do. And yeah, like it pays me well enough. I don't really have to stress about it. I don't have to do like any active ads or anything like that. I kind of
gotcha.
don't want to be honest with you, because it would be too much work for just me.
Yeah, I know
So,
that actually makes perfect. I mean, in that type of world, it's
hmm,
very referrals based. Like you do a good, like you said, you do a good job. He tells Bob over here, like you
hmm,
said, who owns 10 Porsches, and he wants you to detail 6 of them. You know what I mean? Like, all right,
yeah,
yeah, like that's too easy. No,
yeah.
none of your own money spent, at least on marketing. So, how long does it take to detail a car to your satisfaction? How long does it take you normally to do that?
I mean, I want to say it's a broad question just because like it's like when someone calls me, say how much for a detail. Well, shit, where are we starting at?
Yeah,
What do you do? You got kids? It's got your juice and your crackers and Cheerios and whatnot in the back,
yeah.
or is this just a car that you drive every so often and you want to get some imperfections out, or is it a concourse type of car where it's like the pinnacle of like car shows, and it's got
Mm,
like this one little blemish that you can only see from this angle, you want to get that out. Like we can do anything from crazy kids to that.
mm.
So but generally speaking, most cars take just a few hours to do. Do the interior, pull some stains, maybe put like a sealant or something like that on there. But then if we're going to do a ceramic, it can take a couple days to do the paint correction and then get that on there.
Or dope. Which if you haven't acquired it yet and or sold it, what's your dream car? Is it that Rolls Royce that you post all the time with that beautiful blue color?
Yeah, I have a lot of dream cars. Like I think last time I kind of got like 40 something
Yeah.
that I could just offhand. Um, but yes, but at the same time, I also drive my dream car because my 750 has all of the stuff that Rolls Royces have in them in it. It's got the humidor for my cigars. It's got a refrigerator. It's got Mother of Pearl inlays in the body and in the wood grain. It's got a V12, like reclining rear seats. It's going to get curtains here pretty soon. Like everything that you could want in a Bentley or Rolls Royce, sans being a Bentley or Rolls Royce, is in that car, and that's intentional. I think that's really taught me to like to build your dreams, I guess, if you
Mm,
will. Like if I ain't got half a mil to go buy a Phantom, like okay, well, how do they build a Phantom? Because I can use these. I can use my hands to do anything. So how can what did they do there? How they get this effect? How they get this color, this whatever, this feeling, and then take that and put this over here with this BMW? It's like, okay, well, how do I mix this and this, and then just trial and error until I get it together. But yeah, to answer your question, I kind of drive one of my dream cars right now.
dope. Dope. Do you, yeah, and with that, like since you have it kind of custom, do you get attention from like BMW nerds, like BMW historians? It's like, oh, that's a 750 so and so 19, you know what, 1980 something,
Yeah,
1990 something, and you did
yeah,
this and that. Like you get more attention because you know, I guess if you have a Phantom, I mean, surface level folks will probably see a Phantom like, oh shit, that's a Phantom, that's so dope. But like,
hmm
if you got that customized BMW, like you might have some like real BMW fans come to you, and it's like,
yeah,
that's amazing. What is that? Like, how'd you do
yeah,
that?
yeah. That happens all the time. Like
Okay.
people, what do they know that generation? And they're like, "Oh shit, you got the V12 in here!" Like, and then they just start
Mm,
looking around it and seeing everything that I did. And they're like, "Oh shit, that like that's not factory." Like, yo, like I didn't know they came with this. Like, on a relatively regular basis, more so with the V12 than like my 540, for example.
really, really.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. I that's dope. And I just, you know, I like the fact that, like you said, man, you found a passion since you were a kid. I mean, it's an
hmm
art and a science to it. It's art and design, and you just
hmm
focused on it and built that, and now you've built your own repertoire because you're out in like Michigan, right?
Nope. Missouri.
Missouri. That's right, Missouri. There you
Yep.
go. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So like you're building that. So tell me how you went all the way from Missouri to Atlanta for Rick Ross's car show, and tell me what you saw there, man. Like, was there anything there that you were just like, oh, this is crazy?
That everything that I saw there was like, this
It's
is
funny.
crazy. um, so I used to live in Atlanta, and I used to work and do detail and stuff like that down there. And then I'm, out south of town, and I remember passing his yard, and I was like, "This house is stupid." Like I'm talking, you just passing just rows and rows and rows of fence. And I'm like, "Yo, what the hell?" And I realized that was across his house. I was like, "Oh shit!" Like that's crazy. Like I didn't know that. I forgot this was out here.
Yeah.
And I've always been a big Rick Ross fan, and we kind of share a philosophy as well, as far as like he likes his big cars too. He's, Maybach music,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
um so he's all about that luxury type. Like he's one of my favorite rappers because he's got that luxury rap sound, kind of like Ryan Leslie does, or some like Drake can kind of get in that pocket too.
Yes.
But just that smoke a cigar and cruise around being chauffeured or whatever, like I love that shit. I love that feeling. So when he said that he was going to have a car show, I was like, oh yeah, we going. I was like, I'm either taking, like I said, my 750 or my 540 down there. I had to pick which one I was going to take, and I really had to think about, like, from a business perspective, a marketing perspective, like the whole point of me going, you know, obviously to enjoy it, was we're going to get clients out of this.
Yes.
I want these people to see who I am, because I'm just like them. I listen to the same music. I make the same music. We both like cars. Like I can create the cars that they want, et cetera, et cetera. So I was like, I got to get in front of these people. What's going to be the most effective way to sell what it is that I do? So my 540 is it's a beautiful car. It's a great color, great interior, and everything like that. But that's like my sports car. That's like the 6-speed manual, go fast, have fun, stuff like that. I feel like the place that I really shine is like my bespoke, one-off type of stuff, and that's what my 750 embodies. And so, what I ended up doing was a lot, actually. I added a second sunroof to the car. I did like body modifications, like on the quarter panels and things like that. I did all this in the span of about a month,
Hmm.
because I had to wait to find an engine to put in the car. So like I had to do an engine swap, repainted the entire thing, did more interior stuff, built a rear console, just got as much as I could. All these ideas that I've had in my head for the past couple of years, like I was like, this is the place to show them off. And so I got everything done, and I drove down there. It's a 10-hour drive from here. Um, I left. I was supposed to leave on like Thursday, and then take Friday and just chill, and then Saturday go to the show. And that did end up happening because I just painted the car that Monday, and so I had to bring it back to the house, reassemble it. I mean, there's a lot of parts to it, So
Hmm.
I didn't really get done. I wasn't even all the way done until like Friday afternoon. I left about 1 o'clock on Friday and drove 10 hours straight, over to Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, and then to Georgia. I got there about 1:30. Went to a cheap Airbnb on the south side, and then woke up about 4 hours later. Just I'm exhausted by this point because I ain't
I'm
had
sure
no
you are.
sleep.
Yeah. After that
12 to
long
14
drive.
hours. Yeah, 12 to 14 hours, a day for a month.
Hmm.
Like just no days off at all. Um, yeah, I got down there, woke up about 6, and then the line to get into the thing was just it was ridiculous. Like I thought, yeah, I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna stop at the car wash real quick, get up about 6 for the car wash, and then, pick up a couple of detail supplies to just make sure it's clean, whatever. And I get to the corner, like the intersection by the house, and we just not moving. Like that's no, you just pulled up, like that's the parking lot now. Like there's nobody was moving. And the more people that showed up, I got there like just about the right time, because I mean we was sitting in line for probably hour and a half, 2 hours or so just to get into the property. But I mean shit, people was outside. I was out there washing the car, like doing, put my tire shine on stuff. Like we're not moving.
Yeah,
Like
might
we're
as well. You
all
might as
just
well, yeah, work on the car.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we're all just sitting there. I'm meeting people. I met the guy that paints the Zella bodywork down there in Atlanta. He's done cars for like DC Young Fly and like all the 85 South guys. Like I met their painter. He was cool. I met people from Chicago. I just go over and start being social. You know what I mean? That's what we're there to do, is network. So I got down there and just started doing that, and then people showing love to my car and all that. And then we finally got in there, and it was the only old school BMW aside from the two that Ross himself brought. And he brought one like that, and he brought an old 6 Series too. Um, and that was it. There was new BMWs in there, like a couple like M6s and stuff like that. But as far as old schools, I had the whole thing monopolized. I also knew that though. I knew that there were going to be a lot of donks, a lot of boxes and all that type of stuff
Right.
there, and a
Yeah.
couple supercars. That's obvious. And so if I built that, I would have just been another cat with a dunk down there. And that's no disrespect to them, because them shits was hard. Like the amount of craftsmanship and everything they put in their shit is crazy, especially the Florida guys, Atlanta guys, Carolina guys.
Yeah.
Unreal levels of craftsmanship. But like I said, I knew that I was going to monopolize the old school European game, and I knew for a fact wasn't nobody going to go down there with a car like mine. So that parked my car right in front of the house, and people go and see it, like, because
Yeah.
it's the only one of its kind that's out there. So I definitely had a lot of questions, a lot of, shook a lot of hands, a lot of interest, things like that. Yeah.
That's dope. That's exactly what I was saying earlier, man. Like you got something so dope. Yeah, like you said, yeah, somebody could pull up with a Lamborghini Hero Con. All right, cool, got it. We see that. You know what I'm saying? But what
Mm-hmm.
you have is from a time that people might not even have thought about, you know what I'm saying, from 20, 30
Yeah.
years ago. And you see that and it's restored and it's customized, like a freaking humidor in your, I've never even heard of that
Yeah.
until you just said that. I was like, that's dope. Like,
Yeah.
what? People do that? Like, that's crazy, man. Like,
Yeah.
like all that. Like, so that is dope. And you got to meet the people. So, like, I did not know this, but the freaking dude who owns the Turkey Leg Hut has like 70 something cars. Like,
Yep.
that's crazy, man. Like, and they're like
Yeah.
all red or something. Like,
Yeah. His whole setup was crazy. Like
crazy.
the truck's the same color, the trailer's the same color, all 5 cars on the trailer the same color. I mean, he's just monochromic. Just that was crazy to see him pull up. Yeah.
Yeah. I because I was watching clips and I was like, man, I was like, damn, I wish I was in Atlanta at the moment. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
only out here in Texas. But just to see like Rick Ross's car collections, God, it's
Ridiculous.
endless. It's endless.
Ridiculous. Yeah. And he's adding more. He was buying cars out there the whole time. Like, and that's kind of the goal that I wanted. I was like, shit, like if he just sees what I do, I know for a fact he would buy it. But
Absolutely.
again, I should have gone down there a couple of days prior, because the days leading up to it and setting up is when he was actually going around looking at all the cars and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. By the time Saturday got there, with the mixture of all the people that flooded in, with their cars, and then the general public that was coming in, there was just no like realistic way for him to get about and see
Yeah.
everything without being constantly bombarded. I mean, he basically had like the Nation of Islam just a square of 9 cats just like around
For
him the
real?
whole time. Yeah, like when he was
Wow.
only out for a real short period of time. Like I saw him, he was really early in the day. He rode, quick little run around before the show started. And then at the end, when he came out to do, a little bit like stuff on stage and stuff, um, that was it. He was inside for like the rest of the day.
Wow.
Um, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I don't blame him at all. Like I said,
Yeah.
there's so much going on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
When I saw that he was doing that, I was like, this dude is a really smart cat, man.
yeah.
Because he has that property. It's an absolutely massive property. I think it's Evander Holyfield's old home
Hmm.
out there in Fayetteville, Georgia. And I mean, you got all that land. I mean, and you love cars. You know people who love cars. You know people who love Rick Ross. So why not
Hmm.
monetize that and then bring literally the cars to your house? And he don't even have to rent out the Georgia World Congress Center like that. It's just his
Yeah,
damn house. Like, did he
yeah.
charge? Did he charge people to obviously enter the competition or
Oh yeah.
park there? Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that boy makes some
Yeah.
money.
Well, that was another thing that I kind of it turned a lot of people off, but
Mm,
I was attracted to it
it's an
because of
investment.
that. Yeah, it's that. It's a great marketing investment. You're going to be around other people that have that same goal in mind. So you know off the rip, because that barrier to entry is higher, that the other people that are there are serious about what they're doing too. So like we're
Mm-hmm.
all coming together for like a common purpose of we're gonna come up in some way or another. Like we're gonna work together and make something out of this. Because if you go to a lot of car shows that are free or low cost to entry or whatever, yeah, there's not a ton of value to be had out of that. Like after a while, you've been to so many car shows, like there's going to be this car, there's going to be that car, this type of car, this blah blah blah, and like to me personally, I lost my excitement with it. I look, I'm not just going to go to a car show to go to a car show. Like at this point, like if I'm not going to go out there marketing, talking to people, networking, like where it's actually a fruitful thing for both of us to be there, I'm not going to go. So when they said the tickets was how much they was at first, I like, had to really.
We talk. Hey, look, we talking four figures. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that
Some
level.
people
Like,
spent that.
yeah,
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 some
yeah,
people
yeah,
spent that. Like for
yeah.
especially the food trucks. Yeah,
Oh,
they definitely spent 4 figures on that. And
yeah,
you could have like done VIP for 4 figures too.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Now I wasn't again the first time doing it, and it's just me with this thing. I'm doing all this by myself. I was like,
Right.
look, we just spent so much money on a car. Like, let me just get in the thing, with the
Yeah.
car, and
You
we'll be
know,
good.
because it's gonna be an annual thing, right? He's gonna hold it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
next year's gonna be. Oh my god!
I
Like,
need to
I
go,
think
man. I need to go.
you should. I think there's a lot of lessons that they learned through doing this first one. I mean, it definitely could have been organized, better.
It's the first one.
But shit, it's his first one. Like
Yeah.
you gotta see what you're working with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think now that they've seen it and they've seen the scale of it and they've seen how
Right.
it was received on Instagram and things like that, yeah, next year is gonna be even. And he's got more land too. That's the funniest part. Like we can
Yes,
fit
it's
more
insane.
cars.
That dude
Yeah,
is. I mean, monetizing that property is. I mean, there had to have been at least 1,000 something cars out there, or
more
more,
than that.
more than that.
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely more than that
And
because he had 100 by himself.
Him and Turkey Leg Hut, dude, probably had about 20% of the cars out there.
Yeah, damn near, man.
It's
Damn
insane,
near.
man. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's dope to see, man. Like this skill that you picked up, and you've monetized it. You have perfected and are perfecting it. It led you to that point, and it's gonna lead you to so many more places and meeting so many dope people, man. Like, how do you feel?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about this journey, man?
The fact that, I mean, you brought that up. I can't show my hand, but I
Mm,
did meet people down there. I accomplished my goal, like of build this car, take it down there, and get it in front of the right people, and someone's gonna like this shit, and
yeah,
somebody's gonna say, "Do that shit for me," and that is close to happening. I'm still working on closing it out, but that's very, very close to actually. I've been in discussion with him. Um, so how does it feel? It feels wild.
mm,
Um, because at 27 to to do the things that I do is already a feat of its own. Like to paint a car, at the house, or to add a second sunroof when it's never been done before in this car, and engineer everything and just everything that I do. Like when I really sometimes I gotta sit back and look at myself. Like, damn, like you be doing some shit,
yeah,
and I gotta give myself some credit. But then the fact that it's finally starting to blossom a little bit, that's what's really like blowing my mind. Like if you ever got your first big check and you just like had to sit there and stare at it,
hmm
like I'm in the process of like that job interview where I'm about to get the job that's going to give me that big check that I'm gonna have to sit there and stare at it.
hmm
And I know that's going to be the first of many because we're already talking about plans for the second car, like after we do this first one. Um, and then from there, the way the internet is, like all he got to do is just post it on the gram one time, and I got this from this guy over here, and then I'll have more than enough to do it. And like this is the thing I've been doing like my entire life, was to do it. I just organically do this. I don't expect like when I do it for myself, I just do it because it's fucking fun. I enjoy doing it. Like I love engineering stuff. I love LEDs and painting and all that stuff. But for someone to see that and be willing to pay me like handsomely for it,
Yeah.
so I just wake up and have my coffee and then go do my thing, and then someone's gonna pay me to do that. Like that's the dream. Like people work their entire lives to do that, and I'm just on the other side of breaking through to having that be my reality. And it's difficult to put words around, honestly.
It'll happen, brother. It
Yeah.
will. I foresee some really, really dope stuff, man. Like I just came around following you on Twitter. I see the cars you post. I think it's really dope. And I'm like, you're one of the guys that I have bookmarked off to the side in my head,
Mm-hmm.
where I'm like, all right, when the DNA money is flowing in, and as the rush really, really comes in, I'm gonna have some set aside. I'm gonna contact, hey man, can you find me a 96 Impala SS, please? And do whatever
There's
you
a
do
couple
to
of
it.
them here.
Hey, that's what I
Hey,
want, man. You know what I mean? I want
yeah,
the 87 Monte Carlo. Like, that's what I want, man. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. And the fact that you say that too, that's another brand that I'm kind of working on,
okay.
is this thing called Beamer Finders. And so that's kind of the vehicle, because you asked about the detailing and the restoration business. Like that's kind of the vessel through which I'm going to be doing more of the restoration stuff. Um, so where, someone would say exactly what you just said, hey, can you find me a XYZ, or from this year, this color, blah, blah, blah. Like having so many cars currently, if someone asks, can you get me the 7 Series? I'm like, shit, I got 4 of them at the house, what you want? And just
Right,
make it
right,
happen.
right.
Or if someone wants something that's very particular, from the 80s or from whatever, and they want it to be this spec with this engine, this whatever, like if I can't get it, then I know the people that do, like that have it. I know where it's sitting at. Like I can make that thing happen, make that connection for these people. And then it can be something as simple as, I can just get you the car and you can restore it yourself.
Mm,
Or if you want to leave it with me for 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever, like we can spec it out and I can build you literally anything you want. That's part of what my 7 Series is supposed to embody. If you want a humidor in your car, if you like cigars, I can make that happen. If you like mother of pearl in there, or you want whatever kind of inlays in your wood grain, I can make that happen. Um, just name it and I can make it happen. Like that's the whole thing. People come to me, I'm gonna be the old school European, even American car. Like, look, I used to have 12 G bodies before too. So I had like Monte Carlos and Regals and Cutlasses and stuff like that. I had 12 of those when I first started out. So I'm familiar with that, that lane too. So yeah, if somebody gonna come to me and ask for a car, I could probably get it for you.
it would be really dope to see you one day get in contact with Currency, because he got a
Mm-hmm.
massive fuck ton of cars too. And
Yeah,
that's what he does too, man. I mean, he got his old school. He's got his old school Chevys. He's got the
yeah,
Riders and stuff like that. And I
yeah.
can foresee that, man. I can see all that happening, bro, for real.
Yeah, he's got stuff all over the board too, man. He's
Yeah,
got, like you
yeah,
said, lowriders and Rolls Royces and
yep,
just random, IndyCar
yeah. He's got the
Corvettes.
pace
Like,
car. He's got like
yeah,
the Corvette like pace car with
yeah,
the purple
with the yellow
joint.
wheels.
Yeah, it's I'm like,
Yeah.
this dude. I think he says he tweeted, somebody asked him how many cars he has, and he was like, I like 35. And now he has the warehouse now. This
Hmm.
dude's really living like the Grand Theft Auto 5 life. Like he's got the warehouse,
Yeah.
works all his cars and stuff. And I'm like, man,
Yeah.
that's aspirational. For that's what, I don't know if I want 35 cars, but I do want that Impala SS.
Yeah.
Okay, I tell you what, I want that Impala SS, the 87 Monte Carlo. I want the Porsche Cayman 9872 S.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, the first ever car that I ever saw, like the first ever supercar that I saw in my life, man. My stepdad took me to a car show in Atlanta, and I saw a yellow Lamborghini Diablo, like
Ooh.
97,
Yeah.
maybe 96, 97. Peanut butter insides. I mean, the doors came up, and I was
Hmm.
like 6, and I was like, oh shit, this
Yeah.
this is what I want. And he told me, he was like, well, and he's like, if you want that, you're gonna have to study hard. I was thinking, I don't have to study for this. I got to get this money. Studying.
Right. Right. You gotta get money and gotta get connected, because I know where
Yeah.
one of those is.
Yeah, and these cars that you're working on are only going to get more valuable over time. You know what I
That's
mean?
why I keep
They're
buying them.
already, getting into be 40 years old.
Hmm.
So over time, they're going to get, and your services are going to become more valuable over time. It's only natural
Yeah.
because there's only going to be a few of them hanging around over time. So
Hmm.
you're in a good niche, man. So where can the people find you, man? Where can they find, the pics of your restorations and stuff like that?
So the website's going to have like a majority of like the full stories. That's mndbdetailing.com. So that's MANDB detailing.com. And then if you want me on Instagram, that's at Derrick D Designs. So DERRICK, D as in David Designs. And
Okay,
that's where I post a lot of like my personal stuff, like my car is getting humidors and lights and this and that and all of that. And then on Twitter, at the _Great Gazoo is where I'm at.
I got you for sure, man. I'll post all that in the show notes. Thank you for coming on, man. Like, I think this was a really dope
Yeah, thanks for having
conversation.
me.
Aspiration for me. I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
stacking. I reinvest all my money in my business, but I'm gonna start stacking some to the side. And I'm gonna hit you up like, hey,
yeah.
I need that. I need that candy red Impala SS sitting on Forgiato.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
We can make it happen. I got
Yeah, for
connections
sure.
for it.
I can
Yeah,
dig it. Everybody, hey, look, if y'all like this video, like, subscribe, share it. You might know somebody who wants some restoration done or detail. Share it. Derrick can definitely most likely work with you. So thank y'all. I thank you, man, Derrick, for coming on. I really appreciate
yeah,
it, bro. And until next time, man, you have a good day, everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate it.
yeah. You as well, man.
All right, for sure.